All right. And welcome once again to New Day Resurrection and Liberation. I am the co-host, Brother Lumumba Uncaged and moderator. And I have with me, of course, my illustrious host for this evening, the host with the most, Dr. Empress Sister Felicia Nasu, actually known as Empress Chi.
All right, all right. All right, greetings, family, and welcome again to this segment of New Day, Resurrection, and Liberation. And of course, this is our first broadcast for what's known as Women's History Month. Now, Now, of course, Women's History Month is somewhat of a national kind of observance, and it encompasses and includes all women. But of course, y'all know that our focus is going to be our women, women of African descent. Now, interestingly enough, one of the questions for tonight, every now and then we give an open mic or just kind of a quiz or a interaction with our extended family in terms of certain topics to kind of get their views. So we're going to put that out there for you tonight. And I'm referring to the fact that I just said of African descent. Well, nowadays, needless to say, there's a lot of controversy going on around who is African and what is African and so forth. Just like, black, well, anyway, you all get it. So we're going to be introducing, as a part of our pre-plebiscite sessions, we're going to be introducing some other concepts for you. And so tonight, one of the questions that we're going to be asking and hoping that you would give us some feedback on is, and we've asked this question before, what should we think about or actually begin to call ourselves? And with our We Charge Genocide 21, ultimately there's going to be membership, and the members will vote on what those who are part of We Charge Genocide 21, we're going to vote on what we want to be called, at least for a period of time, in order to move some pieces forward. So, with that said, the question for tonight is going to be, should we call ourselves, for example, Nuakebalans or Nuakebalanians? So that's one of the suggested names. So we're going to come back to that a little later. But anyway, going back to National Women's History Month, one of the other questions that we're raising is, why is Black women's history kind of insignificant? Not as embraced, definitely not as much as taught. And I mean, of course, there's the few that we hear a lot about. Of course, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Mary McLeod Bethune, a few others. But for the most part, we do not hear a lot about Black women's history. And I find it so very interesting, being the founder of the largest gathering in the world of any women anywhere ever, that I've never been invited by many groups, organizations, colleges, and so forth to be able to do presentations like other women do. So we're going to be talking more about that this month. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be holding what I call the Empress's Oval and Roundtable discussions. And I'm going to be inviting some women to ask the question, why do they feel women's history, our women's history that is not embraced, is not, given any kind of real significance, and so forth and so on. So I'm going to tell you a little more about that later. But at any rate, we're going to get ready to move on into tonight's program, and with that thought in mind of women's history. I'm sure many of you have heard of Octavius Cato. Well, Octavius Cato, of course, was unalived in a very interesting way here in Philadelphia. Brother Mumba, you want to give a little history about Octavius Cato? And then we're going to get ready to share with the family some information about Octavius Cato's mate. And this kind of exemplifies what I was talking about when I said our women, the history of Black women, their contributions, their roles, etc., is really kind of downplayed. And by the way, we're going to do something about that. So let's give a little history about Octavius Cato.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
And we're going to have a brief clip on ancestor Octavius Cato. Okay, let me share my screen here, family. Here we go. All right. Yep. Here it is. Boom. Okay, and let me know if the audio and video is coming through clearly. Can you see the screen as it is now? Can you see the screen? Uh-oh. Did we lose Empress already? Wow. Let me let this video rock, family. Hopefully we can come back.
This is a story of a man who stood at the dangerous crossroads of American democracy, where votes could cost you your life. This might be where history seems to be repeating itself in our current times. Our story centers around a scholar, a soldier, an organizer, Octavius Valentine Cato. It is entitled Bullets and Ballots. Philadelphia in the mid-1800s was a city of promise and pressure. Cobblestone streets, church steps, classrooms, meeting halls, and always the tension of who was allowed to belong. Into that world stepped Cato, born February 22nd, 1839, in Charleston, South Carolina, and raised into a life where brilliance wasn't enough. It had to be matched with discipline, strategy, and courage. Cato became a man of many fronts. He was an educator and an advocate, the kind of leader who understood that knowledge wasn't simply personal achievement, it was community defense. He helped found the Banneker Literary Institute, building a space where Black intellect could sharpen itself against a society determined to dull it. He helped shape the Pennsylvania Equal Rights League in 1864, organizing for civil rights when the idea of full equality was still treated like a threat. But Cato did not only teach, he also trained. When war pressed toward Pennsylvania and the country shook under the weight of its own contradictions, Cato moved toward service. He helped recruit and organize Black soldiers, men who would fight for a nation that still questioned their humanity. He served in the Pennsylvania National Guard and helped organize regiments of United States colored troops. In Cato's mind, education and defense were not separate missions. They were part of the same promise, to make freedom real. And then came the test that would cost him everything. Election Day, October 10th, 1871. The 15th Amendment had been ratified. In theory, Black men had the right to vote, but in practice, that right had to be fought for at street level, ward by ward, poll by poll, face to face with intimidation dressed up as politics. Philadelphia's air that day was charged. There were rumors of violence, of organized efforts to keep voters away from the polls. In neighborhoods where political machines depended on control, the ballot was treated like property, and some believed it was theirs to guard by force. Cato understood what was at stake. He had spent years building institutions, pressing the law, calling people to civic strength. He knew that voting was not simply casting a ballot. It was a public declaration of belonging. And in that era, belonging could get you killed. That day, Cato crossed paths with a man named Frank Kelly, a Democratic operative tied to the violent harassment surrounding the election. It wasn't just an encounter between two men. It was an encounter between two versions of America. one struggling to expand democracy and one determined to choke it. A shot rang out. The bullet struck Octavius Catto in the heart near his home. The organizer who believed in the ballot, who believed in disciplined progress, in education, in lawful rights, collapsed in the street. He was 32 years old, engaged to be married to Sarah LeCount, a life cut off in the very season he had labored to create. The city grieved. His funeral procession moved down Broad Street to Lebanon Cemetery, with thousands gathering. Students, soldiers, neighbors, and community leaders. Some came in shock, some came in fury. Many came with the heavy understanding that Catto's death was not random. It was political, deliberate, and meant as a warning. And then came the other wound, the wound of the courtroom. Frank Kelly fled to Chicago. Years later, he was returned to Philadelphia to stand trial. Witnesses, black and white, identified him as the shooter. The facts were spoken out loud. The city listened. And still, an all-white jury acquitted him, not guilty. Two words that told Black Philadelphia and Black America that the law could be bent until it broke, and that the cost would be paid by the people who had the least protection, the least protection, the least protection. But Catto's story did not end with the verdict, because a life like his doesn't disappear. It moves into the community, into the institutions he helped shape, into the people he taught to stand, into the memory that becomes a map for the next generation. Decades later, the O.V. Catto Lodge in Philadelphia was established in his honor, a testament not only to his name, but to the values he embodied: discipline, leadership, education, civic courage, and collective responsibility. His legacy lived in every struggle for fair voting, every push for equal access, every time a person chose to show up anyway. Octavius Catto's life reminds us that democracy is not self-enforcing. Rights do not protect themselves.
Progress is never guaranteed.
It must be organized, defended, and carried forward, even when the cost is high. So tonight we speak his name with clarity and purpose. Octavius Valentine Catto, scholar, soldier, organizer. A man who believed the ballot mattered enough to live for, and whose enemies proved it mattered enough to kill for.
All right.
All right. All right, family. So that was a brief history on ancestor Octavius Catto. All right. And there is a monument that has been erected, a statue that exists right on the side of City Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yep. We got to find that picture of you, Brother Lumumba, standing next to that statue. That's a very, very good picture.
Indeed. Yeah, I got that somewhere. I just got to pull it. I got to pull it out.
Yeah. All right, family. So listen, so that is, and if I'm not mistaken, that statue is the first statue that was dedicated to a Black person here in Philadelphia. But I'm hoping that you really kind of are connecting some of the dots, meaning when you hear people say, well, people died to vote. Well, yeah, they did. But also hear some of the other things that he was involved in doing, all right, in terms of educating our people. And in other words, people just weren't told to go vote. They had some political education, information, and also goals and objectives. So that's very different from just going to pull the lever to vote. If you don't have proper information, if you don't have the kinds of things that enables, us, whomever that's going to be voting, to know what the actual agenda is, what that candidate is planning to accomplish, etc., then we need to rethink some of this. Anyway, that again was Octavius Valentine Catto. Well, in that story, Of course, you didn't hear much of anything else, and that's okay because it was about him, about ancestor Cato. But interestingly enough, in general, and this goes to the point of what I was saying about how Black women's history tend not to be very significant. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. Are we ready for that first clip, Brother Lumumba? Because Octavius Cato was just an incredible Black man. But as it is often said, next to a Black man is also a great Black woman. And so with that said, let us introduce you to the person who was very, very close to Octavius Cato, was going to be his wife. So, we're going to share with you some information and a clip. And this kind of also demonstrates or exemplifies what I was saying earlier about how Black women's history tend not to really be of a lot of importance or significance. And this again gives you a very good example. Brother, will we be ready for that first clip?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
This month, we're talking about women of the wheel, icons who turned motion into momentum and spun their legacies on spokes, skates, and potter's wheels. These women harnessed the power of the axle, pushing their crafts and professions forward through their works and lives. Transportation has long been a site of civic demonstration. Figures like Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin in the 1950s demonstrated their rights by refusing to give up their seats. And almost a century before Parks and Colvin, a different woman led the fight towards desegregation on the trolley lines of Philadelphia. Please meet Caroline LeCount. Caroline LeCount was born in South Philadelphia around 1946. Her parents' values set the foundation for what would be a civically engaged life. Her father, a cabinet maker and carpenter, was active in the Underground Railroad and would often hide runaway slaves in coffins in their basement. In 1863, Caroline graduated at the top of her class from the Institute for Colored Youth, the nation's first college for Black Americans. It was there she met her future fiancé, Octavius Cato, a fellow educator and civil rights activist. After graduation in 1865, Caroline began teaching at the Ohio Street School, and by 1868, she became the principal. Caroline worked there for nearly 50 years, advocating for racial reform for Black students and teachers in the Philadelphia school system. Her civic impact was also felt outside the classroom. Caroline was not only a teacher during the Civil War, but also an officer in the Ladies Union Association, a group that organized fairs and supply collections to aid the first ever African-American troops stationed at Camp William Penn. The Ladies Union Association carried supplies up to the troops via streetcars. Even outside war efforts, streetcars during this time were the central mode of public transportation. But Philadelphia streetcars often refused equal service to Black riders. Of the city's 19 streetcar and railroad companies, 11 of them refused to admit Black riders. The remaining 8 reluctantly allowed them to ride, but forced them to stand at the front of the platform with the driver, even when the seats were empty. In many parts of Philadelphia, Black people had to walk or hire expensive carriages. To protest, Black riders would often defiantly board streetcars, knowing they would be forcefully removed. They would then appeal to the courts and seek redress in the courtroom and from public opinion. Caroline and her fiancé Octavius worked alongside others to organize petitions, lobby, and practice civil disobedience. The fight was successful. In 1867, Pennsylvania passed a state law banning streetcar segregation, nearly 100 years before segregation was formally deemed unconstitutional. Just 3 days after the law was enacted, Caroline and a friend attempted to board a streetcar. The driver refused to let them on. Caroline notified the police of the conductor's behavior, and he was arrested and fined $100. This sent a message to other conductors that the desegregation of streetcars would be enforced by law. Caroline and Octavius never got the chance to marry. In 1871, Octavius was assassinated by a white man on Election Day for encouraging Black Americans to exercise their right to vote. After his death, Caroline renamed the Ohio Street School in his honor. Caroline passed away in 1923 at the age of 77. The segregation of streetcars was a direct example of how racial hierarchies manifest in public spaces. Caroline invigorated her community to defy laws they knew were unjust. Caroline LeCount is memorialized as the first Black woman in Philadelphia to have streets dedicated in her name. All month, we're talking about women of the wheel. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast.
All right. There you have it. So, who knew that this Black woman did a protest on the trolley car for Philadelphia?
Indeed.
Who knew?
That was and I'm pretty astute as it comes to Black history and things of that nature. So I was surprised that I had not known this information myself. So it kind of goes to show you, how much information is really out there, and especially when as you were alluding to, a lot of the women's history that does not really get its proper day in the sun.
Yeah, and again, the fact that she was the one that renamed the school in honor of Octavius Cato. She renamed the school for him.
Right.
So, it's just very, very interesting. Okay, let's go to the other clip. This one is a little, just a little more simplistic, but there's a few points in there that the sister brings out that I wanted folks to hear.
All right.
And again, family, what we're doing here in Philadelphia, as well as in other cities, we are really grasping or getting historical information about our women, because our mission, or one of our missions now, is to develop a Black women's history curriculum. As I said earlier, usually if I have a concern or a complaint about something, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to also have a plan of action to deal with it. So this is one of those situations where I've looked very carefully over the years of how our women are, shall we say, kind of missing in history to an extent that it shouldn't be. And so we're going to make sure that that does not continue to happen, and therefore create our own history curriculum, Black women's history curriculum. And so we're doing it by city, by state now. And then ultimately all of that data will be put together in a very comprehensive educational apparatus. So that's one of MWM30's missions. So we'll tell you more about that later. Okay, let's look at this last clip. Again, we're talking about Caroline LeCount.
Now, I'm sure we're familiar with Rosa Parks. She changed history by refusing to give up her seat on that Alabama bus in 1955. Now, she's an American heroine for sure, but what if I told you another woman, a Philly woman, did something very similar in 1867? Her name is Caroline LeCount. So let's meet her. Caroline is a young woman. She's just 21, but she's a principal of a school because she's super smart. After all, she's a whiz at math and science and Latin. She even recites poetry. So one day she's taking a stroll on this lovely day in Philadelphia, but she's dressed a bit differently than I am. She has on a long, stylish dress with a big hoop skirt that swings and sways as she walks. She has on a corset and gloves and a lovely straw hat. Now, here's the thing. Caroline's not just out taking a stroll. Oh, no. She's out to test a brand new law that was passed in Pennsylvania. This law states that all people have a right to ride on a streetcar. All people, including African Americans like Caroline. Now, streetcars. In 1867, that was how people got around in the city. It's not quite a train, but it does ride on tracks, and it's pulled by a horse. After all, there weren't any buses back then. So, despite this law, there are some streetcar drivers that are refusing to let African Americans board. That's why on this fine day, Caroline is out to test if Philadelphia streetcar drivers will allow her to board and obey the law. So let's join her. She is with her friend Alice Gordon. They're both wearing their long, stylish hoop skirts, and they're heading for a streetcar stop. Now, Caroline sees a streetcar driver, and she raises her hand. Wait, I need a ride. Now, the streetcar driver, Edwin Thompson, he sees Caroline and Alice. He slows down, and he sneers and says, "We don't allow your kind of ride." And he tells his horse to giddy up, and he gallops away, leaving Alice and Caroline without a ride, without their right to board a streetcar. So what do you think Caroline does? You think she cries? You think she screams? You think she pouts? No. Caroline takes action. She files a complaint. I hereby testify that Pennsylvania has passed a new law that states that I, like everyone else, has a right to ride on a streetcar. She gives it over to that judge. And of course this is true, but the Philly judge looks at the paper. He looks at Caroline and says, "I don't believe you are a word that's on that paper." Do you think Caroline gives up? No. Caroline marches over to the Pennsylvania state office. She gets a certified copy of that new law, and she marches right back over to that judge and gives him that certified copy. Now the judge reads it. I see. And then the case is closed. He slaps a $100 fine on that streetcar driver and the company, which means Caroline wins. And so do all African Americans who want to ride on a streetcar. So my friends, in 2020, let's honor Philly's own Caroline LeCount, for she took a stand to assure that we all have an equal right to a seat. Once upon a nation.
All right. All right. So again, 1867, y'all. So we have to really ask ourselves today, what are our women really doing today in the spirit of freedom fighting Black women? And I'm not just talking about the rallies and the demonstrations. I mean, when you look at, in more recent time, the 1950s, 1960s in particular, those women were no joke at all. And so with that said, two that we are highlighting tonight in terms of special salutes is, of course, Saint Fannie Lou Hamer and ancestor Frances Cress Welsing. Both of them had Fannie Lou Hamer, of course, her born day was March, and the transition day for Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was also the month of March. So I selected them for this month in terms of Women's History Month because both of them made a marking in the month of March. And again, we're talking about the spirit of freedom fighting These are actually women who did certain kinds of things. And so we're going to go more into that as we go more into tonight's program. But I want to go back to Brother Lumumba and ask also, do you have Sister Anita in yet? Forgot to mention that she's going to be joining us tonight, family, again, as we talk more about some of the issues that we're going to be raising, shall we say.
Uh-oh, your audio just got cut short. Okay, I still see you on the screen, but I'm not hearing your audio, Sister Empress. Check. Okay, looks like we lost Sister Empress. We do not have Sister Anita in yet. I'm sure Sister Empress will be back shortly. All right. With this, okay. All right, we have her back.
Okay.
I'm not up there, I see.
Yep.
Okay. This StreamYard is something else, I tell you what.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I was asking if you saw Sister Anita.
No, not yet. Shout out to Brother Ray in the stream room. Also shout out Sister Gwen in the stream room as well. All right.
All right.
For joining us this evening.
Great. Okay, so hopefully Sister Anita will be joining us shortly. And so while we're waiting for her, Brother Lumumba, have you heard of something called blockchain?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's what the crypto currency is housed on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sister Anita is going to share with us some things that she's been working on. And with that said, connecting that to reparations.
Okay. Now, I had a concept too. I'm not going to reveal it as of yet though, but I did have a concept concerning the blockchain. I got to do a little bit more research, but I'll be sharing that information in the very near future, family.
All right.
Interesting. So yeah, connecting reparations to the blockchain. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, this is all new to me, so I asked her to call in and kind of, give us some insight into it because I'm really not that familiar with it. So hopefully she will be calling us very soon or checking in very soon.
Right. Okay.
In the meantime, let's see, what else do we have here? We were talking about Fannie Lou Hamer, Saint Fannie Lou Hamer, and of course, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And so again, and family, you all can chime in if you'd like. I'd like to really know, where are the women today that represents those kinds of spirit, or the kinds of spirits rather of Fannie Lou Hamer, Saint Fannie Lou Hamer, and okay, and also Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And what I mean by that is, of course, the groundbreaking work that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, even though she wasn't one to go out and protest or demonstrate physically, but her work certainly created, the kinds of mindsets and the kinds of actions that helped others to really, do various other things based on her work. So we have to ask ourselves today, where are women at today? And again, with Fannie Lou Hamer, Saint Fannie Lou Hamer. Now, she did all kinds of stuff, and of course was brutalized, was beaten, and so forth and so on. But she also had farms. She made sure that she was able to feed the people, and so forth. And needless to say, the Democratic Freedom Party So what are we talking about today? 60 plus years later, when we talk about politics and talk about voting, how come we not talking about something that's a little more independent? What is the problem? Let's open up the floor a little bit and see if we have any comments or thoughts on that. And by the way, I was talking to Sister Gwen earlier today, and I mentioned to her, and here's another example. I mentioned to Sister Gwen how so many people came out and supported the demonstration or the thing with the Trump people and removing the panels from Philly's location, the President House location. There was a lot of people that supported that and came out, and there was all kind of coverage. I mean, it was national, right? But yet, here we have Mumia Abu-Jamal. And yet, we can't get Black folks to do hardly anything now around helping to free Mumia. But yet, some panels gets a whole bunch of attention. And I mean, and I get it because, it was an act that, warrant a response, I dare say. But we're also talking about a man's life and an injustice right now and have been for decades. And yet people don't feel that that's worthy of more time and effort. So anyway, just a little bit of comparative analysis there.
All right. So if anyone wants to come up to the front stage and have a bit of discourse on that, then you are welcome to. Just give me a notification. You can put something in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you want to get pulled to the front stage just to engage in some of that conversation as far as the question that has been posed, which is which is why is there not the same energy as it pertains to when we are doing demonstrations or protests or being activated to combat injustice? Why is the same type of energy not given to individuals, folks such as Mumia Abu-Jamal, and why is the same energy as far as Black history? Why is that same energy not being given as it pertains to the accomplishments of Black women? All right, so was that the two questions, Sister Empress?
Yeah, pretty much. And again, we have to pay closer attention to what's really going on, and with that, those two areas. One, that our women are just like, and Brother Malcolm said it more than 60 years ago. Brother Malcolm said, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. He said that. So here we are today. I dare say, kind of, it's right in our faces. To see, as I'm doing this research now in preparation for the curriculum that we're developing, I'm learning so much, had no clue about. It is just unbelievable. And this information is not being shared. It's not being matriculated. And I'm talking about amongst people who are historians. So, if our own historians are not really promoting or embracing the history of Black women, then of course the masses of our people are not going to get it. So, I mean, what do you all think about that? Our own historians are not really pushing or embracing the history of Black women. What are your thoughts about that?
All right, let me see. Again, okay, yeah. Let me see if I let me bring up Sister Gwen to the front stage to get it. You can give your thoughts and opinions. Let me bring up Sister Gwen. Thanks for joining us, tapping in from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sister Gwen, you are now on the
Hi,
front.
good evening.
All right,
Can you hear
greetings.
me?
Yes, yes. Thank you for joining us for this edition of New Day Resurrection Liberation.
No, no problem. Um, I mean, there are women out there. You look, our own Johanna Fernandez has been on the front line for Mumia. Obviously, Pam Africa, uh, who's still on the front lines for Mumia. Uh, Sister Filet on the front lines of Mumia. You know, you women have not abandoned him. Noel Hanrahan. I mean, all of these women that I've mentioned so far have been able to, you know, keep Mumia's case out there in the public arena. And yes, we had a great meeting, in-person meeting, a little over a month now, and you know, that was impressive. And I think with what's going on with Philly and just around the country, there's just so much going on. Now we have this Iran issue, you know, that we, you know, somehow have to contend with, and it's just so much on the table. I mean, you don't even know where to. I mean, obviously, yeah, we do have to get Mumia out of this situation that he's in. Because any one of us could be right where he's at, because we're all activists. And Mumia has been an activist since a teenager. And yet, unfortunately, you know, we don't have the numbers that we used to have that used to come out for him. But that doesn't mean it cannot, that it's dormant completely. It's not. Trust me, it's not. As far as like, oh, I just heard a radio show. No, it wasn't a radio show. It was YouTube. What was it? It's also on Black Liberation Media. I think that's the title of the program, of the YouTube program. And they had a gentleman on there that was talking about Wes Moore, you know, the governor of Maryland, and he was opposed to the reparation study, but they were able to override his opposition, which is a good thing. So this young man, you know, was talking about, you know, other things that they've been able to do. You should have him on your show. I'll try to look up the information and forward it to you,
Okay.
Mr. Filet.
Okay.
But you know, people are doing things. I mean, you know, Mumia has been incarcerated for 44 years, which is awful. You know, they robbed this man of his livelihood and him being able to do whatever it is he wanted to do, which obviously, you know, he's become a prolific author and a social commentator. And Mumia would have made him awesome. He is an awesome teacher, as a matter of fact.
Sure.
And that's what he would have liked to do. And you know, maybe he'll get the chance. I don't know. He's working on his PhD. And he's probably going to finish it now that he's able to see, thank God, because of the march that we did, the March for Mumia, calling attention to elder abuse and neglect in the Pennsylvania prison system and around the country, frankly. We were able to marshal the authorities and WellPath Medical, which is what the healthcare system that the Pennsylvania DOC is using to to provide medical care for those that are incarcerated. We were able to prevail and finally get him the laser eye treatment that he so desperately needed. He said he wasn't even, his vision was so poor, he wasn't even barely able to read the headlines on a newspaper, which is obviously extremely, concerning. Mumia is a he's a demon. He's not letting the time do him. He's managed, and he's not, and the friend of mine always says to me, he's not bitter or feels sorry for himself, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You would think, he would be awfully, upset. I mean, I'm sure he is, but he certainly doesn't display it. That he would be bitter, but he's not. He's busy working and trying to educate himself. So when he is released, he could travel the world, just as Angela Davis does, and maybe secure a position at an institution. I'm sure once he's released, I'm sure he probably could secure a position, or maybe be on a show like this one, a podcast.
No doubt.
I'm sure democracy. Now there'll be many institutions willing to hear his voice, because they're always there once you're free. I mean, even Leonard Peltier said that, they're interested in hearing his story after he's released, but where were they when he was trying to get out?
Right.
But thank God he is out, and his sight, as a matter of fact, isn't impaired. And, it's a tough fight, but I do believe it's a fight we can win because we have examples right in front of us of people who have been released after, doing what they needed to do, which is, lobbying our politicians, demonstrations, letter writing, fundraising, just never giving up, doing all that needs to be done to get the word out about who these people are and what they did, their contribution, what it is. They want to sully the reputation of the Black Panther Party. That's another reason why, he's where he's at. Unbelievably, I mean, who thought these people are so murderous? I mean, they killed Fred Hampton in his own bed, and it was unfortunately a Black man who gave the coordinates of how the room was laid out, and he drugged the Kool-Aid, the drink that he was the beverage that he was drinking, so he couldn't do anything to defend himself. But it was only 21 years old they gunned this man down, and years later, they never admitted that they did wrong, but they did award his fiance, who was laying right there in the bed next to him. I mean, I don't know how she was, they didn't shoot her. She was carrying Fred Hampton Jr. She was pregnant.
Right.
And thankfully she survived. And she was able to get a lawyer, and they never admitted what they did, which was assassinate him. The Chicago police and the CIA or FBI, might have been the FBI, maybe not the CIA. But J. Edgar Hoover was afraid of a Black Messiah, and that's how they see Mumia. That's part of the reason why he's where he's at. He's got a red letter on his back because of his past, his being a veteran Black Panther who has not slowed down, not in the least. He speaks truth to power, and at this point, he has nothing to lose, except for the fact, he's incarcerated, but they can't shut him up. And thank God, he's doing what he needs to do, and all we need to do is liberate his body. That's our job.
That's
and I think we just need to provide the space for people to come out and feel safe that it is okay to advocate on behalf of someone who's done nothing but fight for the right for our people to be heard and not to be bullied and killed, in the streets by the police.
Indeed.
Yeah, no doubt, Sister Gwen. Thank you for sharing. And, again, this is just very concerning for me because, we've been under attack forever. Well, I won't say forever, but we've been under attack for a long time. When you look at the 50s, when you look at the 60s, things kind of quiet down after the 80s, at least the direct attack from police and other things. But I'm saying, there are times that we have always been under, some form of oppression, repression, or whatever, and we still did things. So I hear what you're saying about there's a lot going on and and yeah, you're right, it is, but it's been like that. There are times when it was even worse. I mean, what we're seeing now, there were times when it was really worse, but people still fought. So I can't buy into it's so much going on. I mean, we had a Vietnam War going on. We had police, brutalizing our people on a daily basis, pretty much, depending on what city you were in. We just had all kinds of stuff going on, but people still fought back.
I think people are just tired. I mean, look at the Jasmine Crockett lost her race, but I think part of the reason why she lost her race is she got into the race late, and I'm just now finding I didn't know she was gerrymandered out of her district, so she cannot run for Congress again.
Right.
And this guy, the gentleman, her opponent, has been in the political arena for a little while now, so she had to play catch up. And the bottom line is she was running against a kind of progressive white guy.
Right.
And as you know, like you said, now there's a strong Black woman. Now she may not be all that we need her to be, but she certainly spoke her mind. She certainly speaks her mind, and she was seen as a threat to the Democratic Party, and perhaps to those Texans. They didn't want a Black woman as a senator.
They didn't want
so they rather deal
as a senator. That's the first part. But they don't want a Black woman as a congresswoman either. They don't want Blacks in Congress or the White House or the
which is why they voted for this guy, because but she came into the race late, so that was, which is part of the reason why what's her face, Harris, as bad as she was, part of the reason why she only had 4 months to campaign, and honestly, she wasn't the best candidate. She just wasn't. She just wasn't. She's not that bright. I mean,
are you Gwen a Democrat?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I didn't vote for her. I voted for Jill Stein.
Okay.
And
I'm a member of the Green Party, and I still voted for Cornel West.
But wait a minute, just hold that thought for a moment. But see, now I just want to go back for 1 minute. So isn't it interesting? And I love what you just said, Sister Gwen, but check this out. Black women within a couple of days raised millions of dollars for that candidate. Now,
wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, what? Are you serious? They raised
But
millions for her within a few days. For
I
her
didn't know
campaign.
that.
Black
But she didn't
women.
have the. But she didn't have. You know, she
They
didn't
were
have
willing to
the
give her the
groundswell.
money.
She didn't. So did was with Kamala the same thing. She didn't have the This guy had 30,000 people. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
could have the money, and then you have to see Sab's show. She
oh
and
no, I watched Sabby. I watched Sabby.
so give her, if you watch her analysis of why she lost, she lays it out, and so does Roland Martin, as bad as he is.
Oh
But
no, I don't watch him.
but check it out. I mean, it's because you have to. Even she has to look at. You don't have people on the grassroots. Sending texts to remind you of the election and this and that, and knocking on doors. All of that matters.
Yes.
All of that. I mean,
does.
which is what we got to do for Mumia. To be honest.
And I get that, and I'm definitely ready and down with that. But I just want to do a quick sidebar again. The reason why I was pointing out, not so much that the money makes the difference sometimes, because sometimes it doesn't, obviously, but I'm saying the mere fact that Black women within a matter of 2-3 days raised millions of dollars for her. And this is why I'm asking and raising this issue about Black women. Because they did again, Sister Gwen, I'm gonna send you some information. Black women all over the country helped raise millions within a 3-day period. But yet in our communities, we have no schools, we have no health services, we have no real kinds of arts and culture that we actually control. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm confused. How can there be all this money for a candidate that didn't offer anything? But
They
yet,
gave her money through AIPAC. She got a lot of AIPAC money.
but she got a lot of donations too, sister. That
Yes,
Black
she did.
women, that
Those
Black
Black
women
women-
orchestrated.
Yes, those Black women were often in the AKAs or the other divine. I guess
Right.
Yes,
That's right.
So those first would be the college-educated Black women who presumably would be in jobs that would be able to afford to make those contributions, or in businesses that can afford to make those contributions. But yes, Kamala was not very well loved on the ground with the grassroots Black people. And we would have embraced her, but she didn't do anything to ingratiate or embrace us. Especially on we talking reparations, and she's like, everybody, her best idea was, okay, free education. Education.
But she also said something about mortgages. She also said for first-time home buyers, they would cheat. But that was late in the game. That was like,
yes.
She also, like I said, really didn't have enough time to
That's
to
a
really
bad idea right there, because a home mortgage is still a middle class idea. How many Black folks are in a middle class idea? You have to come up with reparations that addresses all the way down to the permanent underclass. If you're not doing that, then you're not. Then all you
but wait a minute. But a home, but if you don't, offering money to put a down payment on a home seems like to me a pretty decent. So that's sort of like reparations when you think about it.
No, that's not why it's not reparations, is because it gives you it gives the bank the down payment. The reparations is going to the bank. You get a house, but if you don't have the means of paying the mortgage for 30 years or 15 years, then all that down payment actually gave you was 2 to 5 years to live until you're homeless again. That's what I mean by it's not structural repair, and it doesn't put money in Black people's hands. It just transfers it from one set of white people to another.
I see.
Well,
Well,
wait
I'm
a
just
minute.
saying that was something she did. I mean, I don't know. Kamala's not the brightest bulb. That's my problem with her. And the fact is that she, you know, she didn't do anything for Black people while she was in Attorney General, and she kept a certain amount of what do you call it? People that were trying to raise their innocence. She poo-pooed it and kept them in, you know. And so I'm like, right there, I can't,
But I think
I couldn't support her.
We're still missing the point that I was trying to raise, or did raise, and it's this: if Black women can, within a matter of days, orchestrate, maneuver to raise millions of dollars for a candidate that offered nothing, why aren't Black women doing things in our communities that's going to help our people?
That's $1,000, but because it's this.
That's
the bottom line. It's kind of like what's her name? Oh God, I can. They're helping their own. She's you know, whatever, lawyer, whatever. So they're helping their own. To get, you know what I mean? Itself.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it's sort of like Oprah, you know. Well, Oprah helped. What's her name? Kamala Harris. It's the same. You know, when she said she was going to run, a Black woman came, you know, raised a lot of money for her, and so did white women.
Right,
raised a lot of money for Kamala Harris, like you said. Same. It's the same scenario. Absolutely. But they're not of the same class. We're in the. You know, I don't know.
There we are. That's
the issue.
There we are. And I wanted that to be said, so that, because a lot of people are still under an illusion and not really comprehending we're dealing with a class issue amongst ourselves. And Black women, see, again, you don't hear this conversation. You don't hear much of this kind of conversation when it comes to our women. You'll hear some generalities about our people, but not in terms of our women. It has not been brought out to the degree that it is now going to be brought out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yep, you hit it right on the nose, Sister Gwen. Class.
It was in their class interest to support what's her name? Jasmine Crockett.
Right.
I mean, because as senator, she would have been bringing along some of their people.
Right.
For jobs and whatever.
Right. But there is another problem with that, because as quiet as it's kept within some of those circles, they don't really like her that much either.
There you go.
Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah, I was hearing that too.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Bingo.
you know.
The way they get rid of Black representation is exactly what they did to Jasmine Crockett. Now, she's thinking it's because I'm vocal that they did this to me. No, even if you were silent, they would do this to you, because this is still here. You see this skin? You didn't get rid of it.
And then you might suddenly decide to do something. You might decide to get a conscience.
But a lot of those Democrats are really do-nothing Democrats, and that's regardless of race. So
that's true.
If they're going to do nothing, you can do nothing and be white if that's what we're voting for.
Right.
Let's be honest. If we're voting for do-nothings, then they're going to do nothing no matter what race they are. So they might as well be any race, including white. But if they're supposed to do something for their constituents, wow, that crazy idea. Where'd that come from? But if they're supposed to do something for their constituents, especially like reparations, then now these Black politicians have to do something a little bit more than give our reparations to a bank so we could have a place to live for 2 to 5 years. And after that, we supposed to shut up or die, because they don't care, and they did their share. That's all they're gonna do. And if we accept that, I call that breadcrumb reparations. And that's what the Democrats are offering. And when Kamala came up with that idea, it was too little, too late. And she was done. She was done.
I mean, even her book, to show you that she's not the brightest bulb. I mean, because I'm not saying she's stupid, but she apparently in her book, she says that she calls Donald Trump a communist. Now, I'm sure the book was copy edited. How come somebody didn't point that out? Like, Kamala, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They let that go. So I don't think they like her very much.
It's not like she wrote that book by her hand anyway. They probably told AI to write a book for her. But even you could have a book in 20 minutes if you tell ChatGPT. I'm serious. But
you're right.
So she didn't write that book, let alone read it. But and all of it could be make-believe for all we know.
I think she probably did write it, though. I'll give her because she was out of the spotlight. She probably did write the book, but how could somebody, even her husband didn't read it? And her husband's a lawyer, and he damn well knows that Trump is not a communist.
They're calling him a communist because of his friendship with Putin. But Putin doesn't necessarily have to be a communist because he is over Russia. So that's what I mean by you're now taking, it's called playing mind games and planting fear with disinformation. So it's not like they were checking for facts. They wanted to be quoted like that. Now, first of all, who's going to read the book? They're not selling that book. They're thinking the best place to hide something from Black people is in a book. So they're not writing about Kamala Harris thinking they're going to sell this book in the hood.
Well, the reason why she wrote the book, they say, is because I'm surprised nobody's offered the job for her to teach somewhere. She won't go away. She wants to be involved somewhere in something.
I know. She was just in Detroit for Black History Month.
And she was at Jesse Jackson's funeral, apparently.
Yes, and as a vice president, she would be expected to go. So that's yes, it's also protocol. So part of what happens with her is that she's going to stay visible, and she doesn't need a job at a university no more than Obama does, because they get a pension. Then it ain't like she's collecting food stamps. Okay, she's okay. She's okay. I promise you. America wouldn't even do a vice president like that.
No, I'm just saying she must want something to do. She's a young woman. She has no children. She wants something to do. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm surprised she hasn't been offered a job.
I don't know what other job she wants, because if she could also run for governor of California if she really wants to get her feelings hurt.
That's why she's not going to run, because she knows she's not.
But yes,
that ship is not going to sail.
Yeah, they'll give her some kind of nonprofit where she can help raise money by putting on a dress and some heels and go twerk in front of some people. And it'll be okay. She'll be okay. All right. I promise your mama won't have to go out on the street. She won't have to dance in the club. She knows how to make money move. She'll be all right.
I don't think she knows how to dance, but anyway, that's another. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just saying that she's looking for something to be relevant in some form or fashion in politics. But I don't know whether like Jasmine Crockett. I mean, I guess she's gonna have to go back to private practice or something.
No, she gets a pension. If she really wants something to do, she could do reparations.
Oh, please. But they're not for reparations for Black people. I mean, she's got reparations. She said that like you said, she's stinking rich, so she doesn't need the. It's not about the money.
It ain't about the money.
That's
but
for
if
sure.
You're speaking for Black people, but here's the secret problem. Some white Jews don't want Black people to have equal or greater or any reparations, because to them, we're cursed. And yet, how am I cursed except with being cursed with my identity being stolen? Do you want me to tell you who stole it? And that's why I get banned so many places. But I can say this because I'm a Black Jew. I'm not being anti-Semitic. How can I be anti-Semitic to say that I am who I say I am?
All right. Well, family, we're going to close this particular segment out. And Sister Gwen, in case you don't know, this is Sister Anita Bell from Detroit.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're going to talk.
Mumia.
Thank you, Sister Gwen. We're going to talk some more with Sister Anita because we're going to move now into the segment that I really invited her for, but she always, she can come in any segment and tear it up. So it's all good.
I'm not trying to tear up anything.
I mean, that's a good thing. Well, when we say tear it up, see, I'm from Philly. When you say tear it up, it's like bad means good, that kind of way, tear it up. Yeah, no, that's a good thing, sister. Don't worry. That's a good thing when you tear it up, right?
All right.
Okay. We got our own language.
It's okay. I'm learning to speak Philly. It's easier than French, okay?
Well, in New York is very similar. New York got some words too. I love it. But listen, talk to us now about, speaking of reparations. That was a good segue. Speaking of reparations, you are doing something tomorrow, but you've been doing something for like the past 4 or so years, but it's now kind of coming to a point, that you're ready to really bring it forward. So talk to us about not just reparations, but I call it, there's a new spin sort of. Tell us about blockchain.
On blockchain reparations, maybe 4 years ago, you remember, because it was during
I was on that call. I remember it.
You were there. Yep. And that's what I mean. That young man came in and he said some things that just blew my mind, right? And I didn't even understand all of what he said. It's like teaching your grandmother how to use the cell phone. I might finally remember how to get to settings. I might finally remember. But how many times did you have to explain that to me, grandchildren? Right. A lot of patience. Anyway, so that's the payback that grandparents get for us having patience with them when they would wet up diapers. But long story short, we're now looking full circle. I finally understood what this young man said on the program 4 years ago.
Right.
I finally understood it. It's like a light bulb went off. And when it went off, I said, so you mean that we can use blockchain reparations? And first, let's just look at the blockchain. That we can start an organization on a blockchain where it is transparent and you don't have to worry about somebody rigging it. Because right now, the Democrats are rigging reparations for the mortgage companies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who wrote that reparations plan? Dan Gilbert? He's figured out how, even this white Jew even figured out how he gonna get black folks reparations. I mean, if it wasn't so funny, it would be genius. But it's hilarious to me that they think they're gonna get our reparations because nobody wants to put cash in our stupid hands, because we might spend it all on what? Newport lights and gym shoes. Oh my God. God, the
Oh
infamy never
boy.
stops. And the people telling these jokes are the white Jews who stole our identity and have been receiving reparations for the last 70 years. Make that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the joke. We are getting what I call a joke for reparations. This should be on Saturday Night Live, but they got black folks selling it to us. Seriously. Selling it to us. And we're supposed to trust them instead of our own senses. I'm supposed to trust the Democrats, no matter how black, white, and green, yellow, and purple, more than I trust math.
Right.
And that makes no sense to me that I'm supposed to betray myself out of loyalty to people who have betrayed black folks for 161 years. I don't get it, but maybe I'm not the smartest person in the room.
So what is blockchain?
What is blockchain? It winds up being where you have a decentralized digital, let me call it, make the words easy, mechanism. Let's call it a mechanism where if it was used in voting in a democracy, then this is true democracy without election rigging, because each vote is not just counted by one person or a group of people down at Cobo Hall or whatever they're calling that place on a particular day. No, those jokers ain't the ones counting it. We all are counting the ballots. So each one of us is verifying the election. Now, true, we give ourselves 72 hours to make that decision. But as you make that vote online, if you do it within the 72 hours, then imagine if you could vote online. It's immediately verifiable. Why is that scary as hell? Because black people are the majority in too many places. And white people are becoming the minority. They can't rig elections to maintain apartheid if they have that kind of level of transparency. So that's what I mean by just from a governance level. This allows us to be able to implement things on a truly democratic way. One person, one vote, instantly verifiable. We're all verifying it. We're all counting the ballots, not just one person or one group of people who could be bribed or blackmailed or anything. It's now, you can't do it to the whole blockchain. That's too many people. Yeah. Well, I mean, unless you get really creative, but we're not going there. Anyway, so we're not talking about genocide. We're talking about how you can implement this on a blockchain. So imagine this now on a reparations level, that we can implement blockchain reparations without waiting for a government, because now the currency being used is digital currency, so it's not centralized. And that's where it becomes powerful, that it takes black people from a position of begging to a position of leverage. Now, why so? Here's what happens. And this would be in peacetime, but the jokers were stupid enough to start a war. So let me explain what would happen before last Saturday. So up till last Saturday, so on whatever day that was, Friday or so, on that day that there was still peace, then you have all of the other things going on that make rumors of war. And yet cryptocurrency was almost, cryptocurrency, let's say Bitcoin, might have been selling closer to $100,000 each. So each Bitcoin was $100,000. Now, rarely are you buying a complete Bitcoin unless your name is Elon Musk. Usually, all of us are buying a bit of a Bitcoin. And that's where the name came from. We're buying just a little bit. And so we're not buying $100,000. You can buy up to $5 of Bitcoin. And somebody, if you're real good at decimals and fractions, if you remember that math from 5th grade, then that's what you're getting of Bitcoin. And it goes up and down. So we know our American dollar is not backed by gold anymore. It's just fiat currency. It's backed by the good faith and credit of the American government. And the good faith and credit of the American government is based upon the strength of the US dollar and also the strength of the military in being able to bully people. So you have that combination of strength that is weakening. And that's under a peacetime strategy. Then come last Saturday where the jokers decided they're going to start a war. Now, that causes oil to spike up. Remember, our dollar ain't backed by nothing. So if you start this war and oil spikes up, then the dollar becomes worth less because now you're paying more for oil. And when you pay more for oil, then that's going to cause your food and everything that has to be trucked in to go up. Because you see how transportation, and I know that from being in a transportation capital, transportation, Detroit moves America. Let's just call it what it is. Detroit moves America, and Texas, to a certain extent, moves America. So that's what you understand when you understand the value of the dollar. If you take reparations out of the US dollar and now put it into another currency, then that gives reparations the same power as oil to cause inflation.
Wow.
Now do you understand?
Wow. I'm getting it.
Understand. This is not violent, but is so disruptive. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow at the NCOBRA Detroit meeting that will be at 3 p.m. Daylight Savings Time, y'all. So it ain't really 4 o'clock, 3 p.m. Change your clocks at 1 o'clock, okay? Or before you go to bed. And so to be spring forward, 3 p.m. tomorrow. And it's a virtual meeting. There is a registration that you can get the registration. I wish I had a way to post it in a chat. Is there a chat? Oh, I think I can. All right, I'll figure out how to post it in the chat, but you can register for it. But don't even worry about doing it that way. Meet me on TikTok Live, because we also do a simulcast. You can't talk as easily on TikTok Live but if you just want to listen, then you can go to TikTok Live. But please talk, because Empress and I got to talk about this. Can you imagine a young man explained it to us 4 years ago? Now, he didn't sound like me, because I would have remembered this. He said some other big words that I had to figure out what those words meant. And when I looked at it and said, damn, you mean we don't have to ask the U.S. government for reparations? We could just pressure it out of them by putting it in the cryptocurrency. And here's where cryptocurrency gets even more disruptive. Let me use that. First, two things. When you do a global reparations decentralized autonomous organization, or a DAO, a decentralized D, autonomous A organization, DAO. When you do a reparations DAO that's global, then as the US dollar decreases in value, Oil increases in value. The war causes the punishment upon the US dollar. Then people start divesting from the dollar into gold or precious metals. So that's in silver and palladium and all of that. They start investing in that, and they start investing in cryptocurrency. So right now, cryptocurrency is going down, like the dollar is going down, like the stock market went down, like so many things went down on Friday and will again on Monday. While it's down and crypto is down, we want to buy the dip, as they like to say in investor terms, where you buy a stock low and sell it when it gets high. You're now seeing how cryptocurrency is now in that stock market arena. But this is now the area where Blacks can exert leverage, especially Afro-descendants or those of us in the diaspora. The people on the continent, as they control their own natural resources, their oil, their gold, their precious metals and lithium, and when they control that themselves, they start increasing in value and getting more money. And they can send, as they get more money, then the goal is to tell them, send us some Ethereum, Bitcoin, back our reparations with your gold. Back us with your gold. And that's the first thing. The second thing, when you're using an alternative currency, other nations can start giving and contributing to us in Ethereum or Bitcoin. So that becomes where reparations is a matter of national security, because would you want Russia to contribute more in reparations to African Americans than you ever would have received from Trump or the Democrats? And somebody would say, why would he do that? Because of the disruption. So that is why I said what we're discussing tonight is not violent. It's not even illegal, but it's radically dangerous because it gives us leverage. Excuse me. I have a cat trying to sneak in here. Anyway, I'm in the kitchen.
Wow.
So that's where what we're talking about, I can break it down into those. If he had said it this way, I would have remembered it. But the consequences of what he said, this is the interpretation. And this is where we're urging people to become involved with getting a digital wallet. Easy to do that. All you have to do is download MetaMask or Coinbase. Those are the two that this particular program is using in order to do the decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. But now the technology exists where we don't have to wait, beg, plead, and accept breadcrumbs for reparations. We now can make our own leverage and decide what our reparations will be as we do that leverage. And yes, they want to keep our reparations as cheap, so that, why does reparations cause inflation? Because a part of what happens.
Oh, you just put water on me. What are you doing?
I'm on a podcast.
I don't care what you're on. You just poured water all on me.
The cat was going into the kitchen.
Well, you poured water on me.
Please forgive.
And you poured water on me. I don't care who the fuck you're on the phone with.
Okay.
What do you
Okay.
The cat wasn't bothering you. The
cat.
All right, family. So, Brother Lumumba, I'm going to come back to you for a moment. What do you think about what you just heard, that what Sister Anita just brought? Brother Lumumba? Okay.
I'm right here. As you see how a narcissist now blames a person.
I'm a narcissist? I'm a fucking narcissist? Oh my God.
Okay.
Me, and I'm a fucking narcissist. Yeah. Do that shit again.
Wow. Well, you know, life is real, y'all. Life is real and filled with
is real.
many things.
Empress, that is so generous. Thank you.
Listen, I get it, sister. You know, unfortunately, after 400 years, like I think you said it, and I think Sister Gwen said it earlier, and a few others have said it at some point, the fact that we're even still here, right, is just amazing with all that we've gone through. So, listen, I get it.
Yes. So in the midst of, let's describe what we could call how to get a digital Web3 wallet. So like I said, you download MetaMask from either Google Play Store or the iPhone Apple Store, or you can also download MetaMask for your computer, and it will be a Google Chrome extension. And then when you download MetaMask, or you can use Coinbase, either one, after you download it, part of what it's going to have you do before you can trade digital or cryptocurrency is to verify your identity. And that just requires a valid driver's license or passport if you're in the United States. Other countries, other rules. But if, I'm assuming if most of the audience here is US, then you have to have driver's license, valid driver's license, and or a passport. And then after you do what they call the KYC, or verifying your identity, then you'll be allowed to trade in a digital currency. And I'm urging you to create an Ethereum wallet. And that Ethereum wallet is what we will be using to do the Global Reparations DAO, Treasury Council. And that digital wallet in Ethereum will give you 12 words. That is your private key. Write it down. Don't take a picture of it and save it on your cell phone. Don't put it in an email. All of that stuff can be hacked. This private key is how people get their cryptocurrency stolen. You write it down, you put it with your important papers, and you tell the children where that is if they have to get it. But meanwhile, you don't share that. That's your private key. Spell those words correctly, because if it's wrong, it's gone. So that's what scares some people about digital currency. They don't trust themselves with 12 words. I can't fix that on people. Anyway, so you put the 12 words up, it will give you then your public address. Mm-hmm. And that public address will start with a 0 and an X and then a bunch of other numbers. Now you just copy and paste that, because that is what you're going to be sharing with people to receive and also to send your cryptocurrency. Now you'll be making separate wallets if you want to buy some Bitcoin while it's down, or the other cryptos if you want to, but we're using Ethereum because that's a low gas fee, and these other type of blockchains are using Ethereum, or ETH as they like to call it, for gas fees when you vote. So you quote unquote are paying to vote, but we create Now you want the whole lesson? I don't think I'm gonna tell you about tokens. I won't teach you about tokens tonight because I don't want to blow your mind and overwhelm you with too much information. But
yeah,
once
you can wait for tomorrow to get the full rundown.
Yes, but especially you, Empress, share with me that ETH public address on MetaMask, and then I can send you the documents and you can be on the Global Reparations Day Treasury Council. And that is something that we envisioned 4 years ago. 4 years ago. We didn't even know it. And I'm trying to find that guy. I'm trying to find him. His name is Nate Talbot. And so I'm looking for him because this is his idea. I just didn't understand it till last year.
Right. I remember him bringing it. Yep, I surely do.
Yep, we were there. So we're meant to be here because we were there. So we're meant to.
Let me go to Brother Lumumba because he's kind of, into the Bitcoin and the alternative currency thing and so forth. Brother Lumumba, what's your thoughts about what you just heard?
Oh yes, absolutely. Phenomenal works. And so this was some of the big uproar once the cryptocurrency was starting to be introduced, and the whole concept of the decentralization and having command and control of your economic overture. So the applications of it is it's pretty incredible. Like Sister Anita was sharing, it has immense levels of security within that. And because I hear some of the pushback with reparations, with the application of reparations is, well, who's going to keep the money, and how are we going to make sure that it gets distributed to the right people, so on and so forth. So utilizing this type of platform with the digital currency as a perfect way and implementation to answer a lot of those questions, because it is super secure, and the type of security that it's layered actually, and so it enables you to determine who's sending it, who's receiving it, and the encryptions are in such a way that it can't be bypassed and intercepted by other individuals. So it's a phenomenal works that is being developed currently as far as being able to implement reparations on platforms of cryptocurrency. So excellent, phenomenal works.
Well, thank you. I can't take credit for all of this. Like I said, we heard it. We didn't get it. And now we get it. And it answers those questions, and it takes the power and puts it in our hands instead of keeping us waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We'll be doing that another generation and dying out before we see reparations, when right now I understand that particular position 40 years ago. But now to do it would be stupid. And like I was saying to Empress earlier, when we keep doing the same thing, the same way, but expect different results this time, that is the definition of insanity. And when are we going to stop trying to fool ourselves into being crazy? We can choose to be sane and do something different.
Right?
We can choose to be sane and do something.
Absolutely. I have a concept and an idea too. I'm not going to share on air though, but I'll talk to you a little bit later, Sister Anita, and perhaps you can help me develop that out further. But this is right on time though, so much appreciated to the brother that brought it initially, and then for you to be able to continue to bring it to the forefront.
Well, I thank you all for listening and for grasping it, because some people are scared of it. But we use television without understanding it. We use the internet and cell phones without understanding it. You have some people that act like they need to know how to build the cell phone before they'll use it. Come on now. We'll wait while you figure that out.
Right? Woo.
But now that we know, we don't have to know all of those ins and outs. My degree is in law, not coding. But when the coders when those coding engineers broke it down to me, and I'm like, I have to find how it makes sense. And I turned it into law and said, wait a minute, you mean this is automatically audited? We could imagine if we voted on a blockchain.
Wow.
They rig the elections. But no, I'm getting off track. We're talking about reparations. We could start our own Republic of New Africa as a decentralized autonomous organization. We could start a United States of Africa as a decentralized autonomous organization, run it in a sandbox. And you know what I'm saying, Lumumba, when I say run it in a sandbox. Or a pilot project or an experiment. A sandbox is like a private pilot project or experiment. Show the
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
do it that way.
Right.
Do it that way
In that secure space. Right.
in a secure space and before it goes live.
Right.
And then you work out those quirks in the coding. So it's an
Right.
experiment or a pilot project. We can do that kind of thing on a blockchain.
Absolutely.
It's a way of doing social change on a global level. But some
Absolutely.
people are afraid of that because it means that the control is not in just one government. Like one government like the United States telling another government like Canada, your president needs to resign. Huh? What? How would you like it if we sent that message to Washington? No, who does that? But that's what I mean. When they had an election that was verified and they chose who they wanted. But imagine if elections could be rigged by outside forces. That would be disastrous for democracies. But also disastrous is waiting on this democracy for another 160 years. That would be disastrous for Black people when the technology now exists where we could use leverage and cryptocurrency instead of keep waiting another 160 years. I'm sure everybody over 65 understands they ain't got 160 more years to wait on reparations.
And that's what we were talking about, family. When we were having these discussions and talking about, developing plans of action, actionable plans and steps moving forward, and working towards making sure that the captains of industry, the thought leaders, so on and so forth, are able to come together. We can come to the table, conduct these different thought experiments, have think tanks, think pods, and so on and so forth, and to be able to develop our own solutions because we have the capabilities. We have everything that we need and that is necessary. We just have to make sure that we can come together. And sometimes it's in many cases when we're talking about more elaborate aspects, it won't be online. These will be in conference rooms, so on and so forth. But this is the type of strategizing that we need, type of organizing that we need, the type of organisms that we need to be building out and working towards, so we can actually move and progress forward into the future exponentially, and make sure that we can prosper and build generational wealth, family.
Oh yes, because yes, if you buy a house with a 40,000 or 25,000 or whatever down payment their Evanston plan the breadcrumb reparations is, that money doesn't go in your hands. It goes to either the house you already have that is going to be repaired, so it goes to the repairman, or it goes to the mortgage company, but you don't actually get anything. All you get is a house. But if you don't have the income, the credit, the job, the security to pay for that house for the next 30 years, how many people are able to go to GM, Ford, or Chrysler, the big three, and work for 30 years and pay off that mortgage? How many jobs are like that?
Right. Right.
So all of us, black, white, green, yellow, and purple, are on a precipice where we all going to be living out of a hotel, paying rent by 11 or 12 o'clock, or we are one day away from homelessness. And that's what we can prevent right now with blockchain reparations, and then add to it universal basic income. Now the financial freedom is not just black, but black and white. And it saves them as much as it saves us. But we're just waiting. We're just waiting for them to figure it out when we've already figured it out and we could do it ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are the type of conversations we need to be having, family. We're doing a lot of arguing and bickering and going back and forth online about, this, that, and the third, and things that, it's kind of ring around the rosy. We're on a treadmill and running in place. We need to be not only having the conversations, but developing the actionable steps and plans moving forward as it pertains to, something that was entered previously about conducting a plebiscite. When we talk about the things that are important with the development, being captains of industries, talking about the developing and emerging technologies, utilizing blockchain, utilizing cryptocurrencies, talking about how we're going to be developing, aspects of doing bioengineering in our favor, so that we're able to fight different diseases. Developing our own biochemical laboratories. And these type of industries, these type of institutions that is going to help us to move forward presently and into the future, right, family? So these are some of the things that we should be discussing more, developing more, and developing actionable steps towards these type of solutions and objectives and aims and goals.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sister Anita, give that information out one more time for tomorrow.
All right. Yes, you can go on Eventbrite and register for the Encobra Detroit virtual meeting. You'll see us on Eventbrite. We have our logo and our red, black, and green, but check us out on Eventbrite and register for the Zoom portion, especially if you want to speak, because Empress, I want you to speak. So I'm going to, I didn't send out a full email list, but I text some people. So I'll make sure you'll get that text again tomorrow. All right, Empress.
Okay.
That'll be available, and you can send that to others that would also like to join us. So please be on the Zoom, because that's what it gets you mic'd. So usually you can't speak on the TikTok because I don't have that capability yet. I'm still learning. My grandchildren have to teach that to me next. So I'm going to learn how to do that, but I haven't figured that out. I figured out Zoom, and that's going to be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be talking about blockchain reparations and how to make your own digital wallet, your own Web3 wallet. People should have one, just like most people have a cell phone by now. Most people in the next 5 years will be having a Web3 wallet as well.
That's
right. Let me add also really quickly, speaking of developing in institutions, looking at things like investment groups, right?
Yep.
Looking at developing our own political super PACs, our own political parties, and things that is these are the most important things that we need to be developing and pushing forward as far as getting actionable steps so we can see the progress and have that analytical and empirical data to see, okay, this works, this didn't work. But when we're talking about an investment group, an investment firm, an investment company, we're pulling in monies, and so one aspect would be in cryptocurrency. Another aspect would be in precious metals, family. So we're talking
Yes,
about gold and silver. Okay,
yes, yes,
but being able to pull together all of these different types of resources and really stay on top and ahead of the game, as opposed to always playing catch up, right? And we do have the resources necessary. We just have to come together. Other people are doing it, have been doing it, continue to do it. We can be brokering deals with those brethren overseas, internationally.
mhm,
We know that areas like Burkina Faso and so on and so forth, that's one of their main exports, their main
yes,
mining aspects as far as natural precious metals and natural resources is gold, right?
yes,
So being able to, mint these things and being able to develop the investment groups and companies in order to invest in that mining process, not only the gold and precious metals itself, but the actual mining process and companies. All the other nations are coming in and taking up this type of real estate and these types of stakes within
yes,
the
yes.
aspects that we need to, family. So I just wanted to put that
And
out there as
that's what
well.
is, we are moving into the position for what is now called asset-based cryptocurrency. What does that mean? If you have an asset like gold, you could use that asset to back cryptocurrency. So can Burkina Faso or the Sahel states or the whole United States of Africa have their own cryptocurrency within the next 10 years? That's the kind of thought that is not violent, but it is disruptive, because now we're thinking like gods and goddesses instead of slaves. We're not asking permission. We're not even making a demand. We're now commanding with our assets and our brilliance and our unity. What
Yeah.
has
That's right. Absolutely.
we we don't all have to, like I said, we are at critical mass. Not everybody is there. As you know, I live, not everybody is there,
That's right.
even in your own family. But doesn't matter. If there's one, then and there's one more, and there's one more. Shoots, we got 3, we can get started. We got 9, we got a true, we're holy God. We got 9, and that's just the Treasury Council. Put how many people on the DAO itself, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. How many people can we accommodate? Do you know there's going to be 1 billion African and African descended people in the next century? We are going to outnumber China and India.
Mm.
We don't see our potential, maybe because we're only thinking paycheck to paycheck instead of generation to generation. But when you become somebody's great grandmother, that little joker is only 5 years old. He can't work yet. So what paycheck am I thinking about? I'm not thinking about his paycheck. I'm thinking about him and putting him in a position where he
Right.
don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And that's when we start growing up, instead of being slaves that are codependent on their masters and their generous benefits that they choose to give us 1 year and then take away the next.
That's
Now
right.
we're going to be self-sufficient. That's godhood.
Mm,
Not
mm,
I say, I say.
mm. All right.
yeah. Yeah, we got to love ourselves enough to get there. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to tomorrow
All right.
and getting this thing rolling.
Yes. Yes. It could have been 4 years old.
I know, but hey,
But guess what? It's still right on time.
that's right. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yes. All right. All right. But I am so thankful that you had me tonight. I'm so thankful that y'all are here, Brother Labu. But make sure to get the information so you can join us tomorrow, because I'm not sure your age. But if you know what I'm talking about, and you can go into a whole different detail. I said, you sound like you're younger than me. But that's the kind of confidence that has to be explained to your generation as well, because some of them are scared of 12 words and afraid somebody's gonna guess their 12 words. What kind of psychic can do that? Anyway, somebody gonna guess the 12 words and the order and steal your $5 worth of cryptocurrency.
You know, when I hear this, it reminds me of fear, meaning we talk about fear in the context of, the system, or, the system of white supremacy, or what, at any rate, we talk about fear. But I'm now also realizing that the fear is also about change, meaning people they have fear about change.
Yes. Well, freedom is scary. Imagine the night before you turn 18. That 17-year-old been thinking for at least a couple of years, I can't wait till I'm grown.
Right.
But if they thought that, because I told my grandchildren, what do you get me for my 18th birthday? I said, a locksmith. Empress knows exactly why. What are you getting a locksmith for? I'm changing the locks.
That's right.
You said you couldn't wait till you were grown. Let me tell you the truth. Neither could I. It was easy to put you out yesterday. Tomorrow. Yeah, I did. But anyway, but you get what I'm saying. That's Black people are growing up, or should grow up.
Oh yeah,
should grow up.
Or hey, if they don't, they will pay the price. I mean, it's just that simple now.
Well, you're right, because if you don't grow up, you wind up staying with your slave master and reaping the same reward or judgment that slave master is bringing upon himself because of the wars that are being started. So that is the problem. I explained how cryptocurrency works under a peacetime operation, but now that we're at war over oil, because I tease and say it's war over oil. It almost always is, isn't it?
Right. Right.
So whatever natural resources in the land, then it's war over that. So it behooves us to look at this from a standpoint, because I'm in a border city. If we have to run to Canada, we will now have cryptocurrency, and we can convert that to Canadian if we have to. If we have to exodus to Africa, even though I'm good for saying exodus to Mars, but wherever we go, we could convert the cryptocurrency to the currency there. But if you are stuck in American dollars and the American dollar is going down, then you're now, even your reparations is becoming less and less money.
Right.
So we can't be tied to this government that way. We shouldn't be tied to a fiat currency anyway. We should be asking for land, gold, precious metals, or even crypto. But to say, give me $25,000 and then make that $25,000 almost worthless, that's not repairing us.
Right.
That's sabotaging us.
Right. Love it. Love it. All right, my sister. Well, I thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's conversation and learning more and hey, jumping in and getting it done.
Let's get it done. Let's get it done. All right. All right, Empress. Well, in order, because we're going to lose an hour. So in order to be up tomorrow, I'm going to have to go to bed tonight. So,
okay.
But I love y'all. I thank y'all. And this time of night is good for the people on the West Coast. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right, my dear. I will talk with you tomorrow.
Thank you, Empress. Talk to you tomorrow.
Pleasure.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. All right, family. Well, you all got it. I mean, listen, I know some of this might sound to some like, we're out in space or we're in another ethereal journey or something like that. But interestingly enough, this is where things are going. And it's designed to, in some way, it's designed to kind of weed out folks. So I would strongly suggest that you at least know about these things in whatever way, utilize it to your advantage, because it is going to happen. We're looking at the future and it is here right now. So again, tomorrow you'll be able to get more insight, more information that will bring about greater clarity. We just wanted to kind of give you some, little tidbit, little insight into some of what's getting ready to happen, because things have to change, and things cannot change if we're doing the same old things. That just doesn't make sense beyond a certain point. Of course, you do some things because it's fundamental, but within that, there has to be innovation within that mix. So that's what we're talking about. Examining it, seeing what parts of these things we can utilize for our best interests, and keep it going. All right, Brother Lumumba. So I said earlier that Sister Anita was going to bring it, and she did. What are your thoughts? Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So just we talked several different platforms or different shows about the need, the necessity to make sure that we're staying on the forefront, as it pertains to emerging and developing technologies, as it pertains to how things are rapidly changing and evolving. And so, it's pertinent for us to not only be able to keep up, but to be ahead, to be the creators, to be the innovators, right? To look to what's happening present and compare that to what has happened in the past, and to be able to come up with an analysis of what will be occurring in the future, and be part of the development of that, right? And so, we have those capabilities. We have that genius. We have the historical evidence of it. So these abilities, capabilities lie within us. We just have to make sure we're pulling these things out, that we're shining a light onto the different individuals, the different thought processes, and the type of educational systems that are needed and necessary, the type of edification systems that are needed and necessary for us to continue to grow within these spaces in that fashion, positively and progressively, right? And to make sure that we're the forerunners, to
Yes.
make sure, again, we're the innovators, we're the creators, as opposed to, and the producers, as opposed to always being the consumers.
Ashe. All right. With that said, I'd like to go to the clip. I think it's from the Black News source that I sent you. I think that takes us right to where we've been talking about, or some of what we've been talking about, right?
All right. Let me.
Yeah, it talks about the 13th Amendment and why we're doing things the same things we've been doing. It addresses that. Do you need me to send it again?
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, you can send it.
Okay, so okay.
All right, family. With that being said, is there any questions or comments? Want to be able to open the floor up. You can put that in the chat if you had a question or comment, and we can bring you up to the main stage and allow you to say your piece. Shout out to Sister Dottie as well, joining us in the stream room.
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited about.
Oh wow, Sister Neem never put it in the chat.
What?
The information for the link.
Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, if you can put that in the chat, that'd be great. Sister Dottie is saying she would like to know more about it, and she is enthused and motivated.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look through my text messages, see if I can find it. But again, family, tomorrow is, it'll help folk to kind of just get acclimated to, some of these concepts and some of the things that we're looking at, actually doing and so forth. Okay, Brother Mumba, I just sent it via text, meaning the link, but I'm now sending it to your email.
Okay, and that's the video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The link for the video.
Right.
So I'm sending you that now, and I'm gonna now also look. Okay.
And then we're going to try to work to see if we can get that further information. Find that Eventbrite link to be able to share that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have the Eventbrite link. She sent me another link. I'm gonna find it in a few moments.
Okay, let me see if I can go to the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go to the video. I'll pull out the link.
All right, let me go there now, family. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, give me 1 second. I should be pulling up shortly. Okay, I have it. All right. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. All right, if everyone can see my screen. It seem like the...
Because what I'm about to say will make you angry as hell. The Black News family. You ever wonder why Black pain is so easy to ignore? I need you to really hear this, because what I'm about to say will make you angry as hell about why you still keep repeating this same pathetic behavior. Personally, I feel sick to my core. It revolts me inside when I see their real face. Something so raw, so obvious, but so often ignored. The only time people believe race isn't involved is when black people are the victims. Let that sink in. You'll never see white people standing up to fight for black progress. It just doesn't happen. And honestly, I don't think it ever will. Not when history keeps proving otherwise. Look at the aftermath of slavery. Where were the reparations for black people? Look at South Africa. Apartheid was global crime against humanity, and yet, not a cent in reparations. Nothing. But then you see what happened with the Jewish community after World War II. 140 billion in reparations for 5 years of trauma. But our pain is centuries deep, and we're still told to move on. So here's the painful truth. White solidarity is real. They look out for each other. The only dumb creature on earth that will stand with animals that are not related to it in order to subjugate their own people are black people, just to bring down our own brothers and sisters. Our ancestors, our chiefs, sold us into slavery, thinking they were gaining power. But all they did was invite colonizers in, and guess what? Those same colonizers turned around and took everything from them too. Power, land, legacy, all gone. And today, some of us still believe that money alone can protect us. Paper money. But when the West wants something, they'll bring jets, bombs to exterminate you. Ask Libya. They don't ask. They take. It's time we stop playing ourselves. Time we learn from our past. Time we protect our future. We need to break this cycle, because no one's coming to save us, but us. And if you felt this in your soul, like I did when I first heard it, then don't just scroll, like it, talk about it, and share it, because this message deserves to reach every brother and sister who forgot who we are. I'm your brother Vernon, the nationalist. The Black News family.
All right. I think that spoke for itself. All right. Brother Moon, I sent it via text, the link for tomorrow. I am now sending it to your email. And Sister Dottie, I'm going to send it to you as well.
All right. Excellent. As soon as I get that, I'll put that into the chat, family. All right. Let me see if there's any questions or. All right. I'm going to put that in the chat as well, family. As soon as I get that. All right. So let me just check to see if there's any. All right. So let me just check to see if there's any questions or comments. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you want to come on to the main stage, let me know, family, and I'll bring you on up.
You're starting to repeat everything you're saying is being repeated.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Am I good now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Great. All right. Okay, family. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, you put that in the chat. If you want to come up to the main stage, let me know. I can bring you up for the discourse and dialogue. Okay, I should have that in my inbox as well. So let me check on that. And so I can put that link in the chat for you. Nice.
Okay. I just sent it to you and also Sister Dottie.
Okay.
So I didn't edit it, so it's the exact message that she sent to me, but the Eventbrite is there and also her website.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna put that. All right, yeah. Just in the chat, family. Okay, doesn't
Yeah,
look like there's any further questions or comments.
so I just want to remind everyone also that tomorrow is International Women's Day. And one of the topics before we close out tonight, I wanted to make sure that I mention, because next week I will be going up for a couple of the sessions for what's known as the CSW, which is the Commission on the Status of Women, which is hosted by the United Nations, the women's kind of division of the United Nations. And what happens is every year, this year is the 70th session. Every year, these sessions are held in March for 2 weeks, and women from all over the world come to these sessions. So we're able to literally meet with sisters from pretty much every nation. And so it enables us to, to be able to network, to exchange information, and also to observe. Brother Ray was with us one year, and we literally was able to sit in on a session that we had no idea we were sitting in on. But as a result, we learned some things that was pretty alarming in terms of the maneuvers that are being made in Africa from various corporations here in the U.S. And so a lot of our women and girls are going to be exploited, and because there's different kind of medications or different kind of other things that are put in Africa as test runs. And so these are some of the things that we have to be a lot more mindful of when it comes to women and girls of African descent worldwide, because the awareness of certain things is not in every country. We're blessed, at least if not blessed, we have the opportunity to have access to information pretty readily, pretty quickly. In many locations in Africa and throughout the diaspora, they don't have that. So to get what the ingredients are of certain things, or, other kinds of information they're not getting. And so our enemies are taking advantage of that. And as a result, are putting things into various countries. And, the women, they don't know, and they're not going to know, because their needs is going to supersede looking closer at what some of the dangers are, you see. And so these are some of the things that we're going to be talking more about in the very near future, about how we got to start getting each other's back, watching each other's back. What we're noticing more so here in the States is that, folks are stabbing each other in the back. So we want to make sure that we lessen that and do not, become a part of that to the degree that we're starting to see happen in our communities nationwide. So again, tomorrow is International Women's Day. We may do a brief session around 6 or 7 o'clock. I'm not sure yet. But again, we want to make sure that our women here know that these things are in fact going on, in certain arenas. I mean, grassroots women are totally discarded, overlooked, pushed to the curb. And we talked about it earlier when we talked about this classism thing. It does exist. And so Million Women March showed that we could break through that, because we had sisters from every walk of life, and what we say, from the grassroots through the glass ceiling. So we know that it can happen, meaning that we can find a common level or common ground to connect. And we're going to do that now, particularly for next year, for our 30-year anniversary. Now, with that said, this month and starting actually on Monday, folks will begin to get in their inbox and in other kinds of ways, texting, the encouragement of getting your membership. is very, very important now. We have things to do. And so membership is going to be very important at this time. As I said earlier, Black women galvanized, organized, and played a major role in raising millions of dollars for a candidate that did not offer anything. And so we have to now say, if Black women could do that, and they did, then surely MWM has demonstrated not only its commitment, not only its capability, but also its intent and its integrity. And so we now have programs and initiatives to be brought forward, and it is going to take finances to do that. And again, as Sister Anita just said, we do not want to depend on any government, and definitely not this one. So membership is going to be very important. This is March, Women's History Month. So we're kicking it off this month, and we have a goal. And we're going to talk more about that, if not tomorrow, if we do the special edition, certainly on Monday and later on in the week. We have a goal and objective of what we're trying to raise between March and the end of May. May, of course, Mother's Day, and then the end of May is Memorial Day. And so for those that do not know, Memorial Day actually started with Black folks. But we're going to utilize it in memorializing our ancestors. And with that, we have a plan of action in that regard. So again, membership right now is very important. We're looking to obtain 1 million members. 1 million members. And the support membership is only $30 for the entire year. That's it. $30 for the entire year. That will enable us to purchase equipment. We want to get sewing machines, embroidery machines, power machines. We have other equipment that we're looking to get in order for us to be able to produce not only our own clothing line, but also our own music. So these are some of the initiatives that our membership will help us to obtain. With the sewing machines, this will enable us to provide training for our women, as well as to produce our own clothing. A people who can't produce their own clothing, they're not going to survive beyond a certain point. They will continue to be dependent on other people. And so we know that fundamentally, food, shelter, and clothing is essential. And so we have a meeting coming up that's going to talk about shelter or homes or housing. We'll give you more information about that very shortly as well. And also looking at training, apprenticeships that deals with building housing, homes, shelter, things of that nature. So again, MWM has a plan of action that we're now bringing forward. And again, if Black women could and did assist in raising millions of dollars for a candidate, a historical moment, we have more than a historical moment. We've already done the historical moment. We now have a plan of action. And now we will see if our women, if our sisters in particular, our brothers too, because brothers, this is Women's History Month, you can get a membership for the sister in your circle. But again, we need our folks' support, our people's support. That's who we're looking for. That's who we're turning to. And again, we want to make sure that we pass the information on to others. It is up to us. So again, the month of March, Women's History Month, straight through the end of May is our membership campaign for now. And our goal is $30,000. $30,000 between now and the end of May. Okay, so again, we'll be telling you more about that later on this week, and folks will be getting information sent to them via email, via text, via snail mail, and so forth. All right. All right, Brother Lumba, I guess we can get ready to close out. Is there anything?
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I'll be getting ready to close out for this evening, family. Thank you all for tapping in and joining us. Thank you for your continued support. All right, get your memberships. You can, for more information, you can email national MWM at AOL.com. That's national MWM at AOL.com. You can also text 267-636-3802. Again, text 267-636-3802. All right. And get more information, get your membership, so on and so forth. Get those documents sent directly to you via text or email. With that being said, we're going to close out for this evening. I want to thank, of course, first and foremost, the Most High Creator Creatress. Give thanks to the ancestors and the elders, those who have shed blood, sweat, and tears and paved the way to allow us to be here today. I want to thank you all. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort, dedication, determination, and discipline. I want to bid you all truth, justice, peace, love, freedom, power, prosperity, protection, and divinely principled purpose. I want to say let us continue to strategize, organize, and mobilize. And finally, I want to say Pamoja Tuta Shenda, family, which means together we will win. All right. Peace and love, family.